Tunnelers! Death! Today, I tried out Fallout New Vegas's hardest mod. Welcome to Fallout Dust. This is the hardest mod I think there is for Fallout New Vegas, and let me just say, this adds so many new things. Basically, it adds tunnelers in the base game, and you're permanently playing on hardcore mode. So, it is a very difficult mod, and for this video, I wanted to just try it out. So, my only goal is to make it to Goodsprings. So, with that being said, let's get into it. So, I first started off by making my character Fallout Man. Truly the best name I could think of at the moment. So, I then made my character, honestly, just stuck with the base here. Then, for my attributes, since I am going to be surviving, I am, of course, going to need a lot of strength, endurance, and just overall skills to stay alive a little bit longer. I then picked up my traits of Trigger Discipline and Skilled. Hopefully, they'd be as good as they are in the regular game. I then dropped all my DLC stuff except for the aid, and then I decided to go through one of these random doors and spawn, where I spawned in this random shack. Now, there were quite a few things in these shack, specifically a varmint rifle and a knife. These were my only weapons I would have access to at this moment. So when I went outside, I thought, hey man, everything will be perfectly okay. And that was not true, because immediately when I went outside, I got swarmed by like 4 tunnelers, and so I just took everything from all these bodies and just ran. I equipped this armor, which gave me some DT, but overall, not gonna be too good against tunnelers, because these are normally in New Vegas like level 30 enemies plus, and I am level 1. So all I have to do is jump back, run away from tunnelers, and just try to get away as quick as possible. But luckily, since I am near Cottonwood Cove, I am able to just run away pretty quickly alongside the mountains and make my way up through here. Now, my goal to make it to Goodsprings would be quite difficult, because I have to cut through all of this land that would have ghouls, tribals, and many tunnelers throughout the area. So I would have to find some items to be able to, of course, deal with this. And I found a camp. Now in this camp, there were quite a lot of ghouls, and I didn't know how much damage ghouls would do. Of course, I knew tunnelers were going to do a ton of damage to me, so I wanted to stay away from them. But these ghouls, they honestly didn't do much. I mean, unlike tunnelers, they weren't too bad, but yeah, a tunneler just ran in here anyway and completely wiped out some of the ghouls. So what I had to do is actually just throw grenades and stab this tunneler. And yeah, it's very good to say that a knife does not work great against a tunneler, but when you have grenades to go along with it, it does do some damage. So in this town, of course, I had already found some grenades, but I also found a revolver. And with this revolver, I was able to take out some feral ghouls. And I'm gonna be honest, when I was taking out some of these feral ghouls, my crosshair and my VATS were not working the best, let's just say. And things did not go well. Another thing is these feral ghouls, they emit a lot of rads, but I did end up dealing with the feral ghouls, and I made my way to these mines. Now, in the mines were the biggest stash I had found this entire playthrough, was a ton of dynamite. I'm talking, like, so much. Now, usually in the base game, dynamite is whatever, but I'll take anything I can get with playing this mod. I then found a survivor just running away from his camp, and I checked out the area, not too much there, so just left the mines and ventured towards Camp Searchlight. Now, Camp Searchlight is going to be a little bit different in this mod, so along the way there, I found a couple feral ghoul troopers that were running away. Nothing too out of the ordinary for Camp Searchlight. But I had to throw quite a few sticks of dynamite to at least kill some of these ghouls and also hurt this tunneler who kept chasing me and was quite a nuisance. But I decided to throw this concussion grenade I found, and it did just a tiny bit more damage to me than it did to the tunneler. So with another well-placed stick of dynamite, the tunneler was dead. I then headed to not Camp Searchlight, but now Fort Searchlight, as it was taken over by the Brotherhood of Steel. And luckily, this guy right here, this BOS guy that found me, he was aggro on site, but luckily he did not have a laser rifle. He had a Ripper, so I was just able to just throw grenades and dynamite at this man. And, you know, because he's wearing a big suit of power armor, it still does not do a lot, but what I learned is you throw enough explosives at something and it will blow up. So while a ghoul was fighting him, I just threw a Molotov at him, I threw dynamite at this man until he was 1 HP. And now, here is where the knife can finally penetrate some power armor. Well, not really, but I just stabbed him and he died. So I finally got a really good weapon. I still can't use that power armor, of course, because I don't have power armor training. So unluckily, I won't be able to use it. But I also discovered there's a crafting menu in the Pip-Boy, which is pretty neat. So with that, I found a small shack, which would be a cool place to just loot up. And while I was in here, I got attacked by a glowing one, which showed that this Ripper was quite the tool to deal with him, and kind of showed me melee would be really useful when it came to this mod. I also tried sleeping for a day, but yeah, you run out of hunger and dehydration very quickly. I then went outside, died to tunnelers quite a few times, and yeah, I decided not to go to where those tunnelers were. I went the opposite direction, and that is where I found even more enemies that just started shooting at me. And death is a very big theme with this mod. So, you know, probably putting up my sneak would have been a better idea, but yeah, I didn't do that. So I killed a few mole rats, or killed a mole rat, and then I found some tribals along the way. And this showed me, I didn't know VATS was that broken with the Ripper, but I could just go in VATS and just one-shot a tribal. I don't know if it's like this in main game, because, like, I don't use the Ripper much in the main game. But if it is, I might have to look into using that weapon more. But in this camp, I found a bedroll which would allow me to sleep anywhere on the map at all. I also found multiple new goods, like a single shotgun, so I could actually have a pretty good gun. I also found purified water, bitter drink, a bunch of just good items, like generally good items for survival and everything I could need. And along the area, I just, you know, looked around for anything else, and yep, this camp was pretty much looted. But rads were becoming an issue at this point, and I don't know if there is a way to prevent rads in this mod, or I just have to find Radaway like somewhere in the wasteland, but I would have to find some because rads were becoming quite a bit of an issue. But while I was heading towards Goodsprings, a few Night Stalkers came up, and a frag grenade decided to not do a lot of damage, so I had to resort to my shotgun I found, and yeah, this shotgun actually did do a lot of damage. Now, I don't know if just damage with weapons in general is boosted with this mod, because I don't think as level 1 I should have been doing this much damage to Night Stalkers, like even as enemies. But after killing those Night Stalkers, a tribal came up and killed me anyway. So with that, I just wanted to leave the area, you know, sneak around. Again, sneak would have been really useful to, you know, actually level up, but yeah, still didn't do that. I then found a group of enemies here and decided to shoot them with my shotgun. It did like no damage and I died, so I came back after having to reload the save, and a mole rat came up. And I don't know why I didn't just pull out the Ripper, but I used the knife, and yeah, I mean, it worked. And I then went over to the survivors, and this time was a bit different because last time some of them had guns, but I guess they spawned in all with melee weapons this time. So just threw dynamite, ran, and all of the survivors went boom. I got a lot of XP, and I got my first level up of this mod, allowing me to put points into melee weapons. I also looked through the perks, and while looking through here, I was like, I'm not sure if this mod is just supposed to unlock all these perks, but alright. And I decided to pick something just simple like Burden to Bear to get extra weight, so I can actually hold a lot more, since I can only hold like a little bit of items. Like, it was only, I think, 55 base, and then it bumped it up to 65 with the perk. But yeah, I got that perk just to do that. I also looked through the crafting, and I could have made the tourniquet, but I think I didn't really need to make one, so just didn't. I then came over to this one area where there's a bunch of tribals and employed my professional sneak skills to make my way by. I was later attacked by all the tribals. Yeah, they could spawn me pretty quickly. And I thought, you know, going to this one house, very sneaky, right? Take them one at a time. Yeah, that did not happen. So that area, I did not want to go by those tribals. But luckily, after making my way through the area, not fighting the tribals, I made my way to Nipton, which was, of course, named different, being the Burned Bills camp. So with that, I found this one tribal just with a broken laser gun on the ground, and I don't know why I was there, but nothing I could really do. I then found this guy by trying to go through the other side, and I died. So I tried to just go straight through and run straight through Nipton. And you know what? Just cutting straight through works a lot better than trying to be sneaky and go around it. I then found this one survivor at the Nipton pit stop and said hello to him. With that, I just ran through the Nipton road stop and made my way towards Prim. It was at this point where I was almost finished with the run because I had almost made it to Goodsprings. And then these guys just put up their guns like on the way to Prim and just told me to get back. So you know what? I did. I backed up, crouched, and went right behind them. They didn't see me. That is probably the best stealth I have had in this mod so far. And with that, I just ran through Prim. I then made my way to the part in Prim where the NCR usually were. I also found quite a bit of ammo here, which was pretty nice. So I had to kill a couple of these guys near the NCR tents, and they had some, you know, just items, regular old items, nothing of note. But there was this one survivor in the tent where one of the NCR, or some of the NCR usually are, and he had a journal on him. Now here's just a bit of lore if you want to read it. There it is. I don't know. Just some lore about the mod, I guess. I then went over to just check the other tents. There was just some ammo, nothing too interesting, and I couldn't even use any of the ammo that was there. So I just cleared my way out and tried making my way towards Goodsprings, where I figured out that all the powder gangers here were just replaced by more tunnelers. So I employed the one stealth boy I had to my arsenal, which I had since the beginning, and used it to stealth my way all the way to Goodsprings, and finally made my way to not Goodsprings, but Ghost Town, which was just overrun with wild dogs. And now, I think it would have been better if I had, you know, spawned here instead of, like, you know, anywhere else, because this was by far the easiest area I had been to. I then got to Doc Mitchell's house, which was locked, so I couldn't even go in, but I did clear out the town, checked around, and yeah, it's in the name. It's a ghost town. There is no one here. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up, and this was Dust. It was pretty fun, so with that, thanks for watching, and peace.